The synthetic human, or short gray, is soon to exist only in demonic conscious form. That means they'll go on to exist in the Class 3 macrobe form, as they are synthetic humans, or were once human. They were a race of short-statured, although brilliant, telepathic, and large-headed people who were dark-skinned. They advanced to be interstellar travelers, yet due to their detrimental leadership, they begin to genetically alter themselves and eliminate their female. This group interacted with the Draco for a long time. The Greys met the Draco when they were of primarily equal strength. However, they were manipulated by the older and destructive Draco Empire. So along with the statement that the Greys made to me, they stated that they were unhappy with the way our government was treating autistic children. Of course, they are lying because they are some of the greatest promoters of this type of experimentation. But they stated they didn't like seeing the human governments hurting children with frequency weapons and trauma-based mind control to create people with special senses. They also stated that they considered themselves once similar to autistic children, and they hinted that they have time travel capabilities, which they do not. They lie often, and they stated that they were helping me on a few occasions. This is not an uncommon story associated with them. They also like to be known as the victim, and they are happy to report that they are on the brink of some strange disease which affects their genetics. Anyway, they are soon to exist only in demonic conscious form. They are going to lose this ability to clone themselves. They are already deteriorating genetically. I don't trust these guys. They're notorious liars and they're completely insane. As I said before, they attacked me, trying to kill me a few different times. They fed me huge amounts of pain they compared to their normal low-frequency mindset, and then they dared me to have them in the pain. They tell me that death will be easy. They suggested I wish death upon myself, and they would carry it out quickly. They would have liked to say, "See, the man could not take the pain that we live with without wishing death," so they increased the pain time and time again, almost killing me several times, yet I did not give in. Both William Cooper and John Lear, among others, stated that the U.S. government, possibly during the Roswell incident, recovered a live synthetic gray, along with a downed IAC. In other accounts, the synthetic human gray were dead. William Cooper said that these critters could disappear through walls. So if the United States government had a live gray for longer than a few weeks, I will have to tell them this is not the same gray. The gray would have to be replaced every few weeks. They have different forms of transport, and the one that I've seen looks like black smoke and imitates shadows. It's some sort of transport device. On Walpurgis Day 2010, the GOC released a communication across the internet, signaling the starting point of a psychic battle that annihilated the opposition. Approximately 9 Class 3 macro demons, objectively eliminating the occult power of several black magicians by way of a mass exorcism that also targeted members of a local paramilitary unit that was surveilling the GOC. When targeted by a stream of metachlorians, or fine matter, the macrobes, Class 3, flew into a frenzy, shape-shifting like crazy and turning many forms, sometimes shifting into pretty female faces who wept at our attack. But I maintained the target as they flew around, and after a set amount of time, we successfully dematerialized these demons. High energy levels were detected by covert operations radiating from the exact location of this event. If the public desires further proof, they must question the Senate Briefing Council Committee, who testified to the classified nature of the Code BP oil spill and subsequent drilling which took place in the East Point area. They have much recorded data of IACs and UFO-related phenomenon and evidence of the psychic activity in my reports. As usual, they have kept it all classified except for what I have taken the liberty to expose to the public. What followed to what I will refer to as the Walpurgis Day incident was a 3-month and perpetual attack on my family. Throughout the ordeal, while refusing to yield, I experienced several near-death experiences via their assassination attempts. I was able to secure much intelligence on the methods, actions, and technology as utilized by Giza Intelligence, which is a network of synthetic humans, Bufath and Draco, working collectively against humankind. The short greys got in close to the government through the crashed discs and by appearing non-threatening, stating that they were an alien race with a genetic disease on the brink of death. This is one of the only truths that they would admit. Besides that, they claimed to be from a distant planet of the Zeta Reticuli star system, among others. The dead synthetic humans were autopsied and strange anomalies were observed. The short greys were without sex organs and had oversized craniums. They didn't have eyes in the general sense. There were different greys, some with larger heads and often mechanical bodies. Those with physical bodies, coated drones, had smaller, more oval heads and had poor posture and difficulty moving with ease. Other synthetic humans had gone through hybridization with the Draco genetic structure. Hybrids are very distinct looking, and the greys put out a lot of disinformation concerning humanity's origins and human-looking hybrids. This is an illustration of a synthetic human crossed with Draco hybrid. I don't know of any of these beings in storage of any government. The short greys autopsied were found to possess implants wired in their heads. There are different types of these implants. Some are capsules, others are more sophisticated, like a network of wires woven into the brain. The government also found implants in many people, sometimes without record of installation. If x-rays are showing up with people with implants in their mouths and heads that the government has no record of putting in, this is a problem in anyone's eyes, compounded when people more recently are reporting, with video evidence, wires growing out of their skin. This is termed Morgellons disease and is a distinct form of nanobot implant that grows, weaving itself within living tissue and cannot easily be removed without damage to the surrounding neural or brain tissue. So of course they decided to silence the whole thing. According to Phil Schneider, the US military seemed oblivious to the alien threat back in the early 1900s. The earliest record, he stated, was in 1909 when the US cavalry entered a cave in pursuit of some bandits and saw what they termed horseshoe craft and little gray demons. If all those soldiers came out intact, they all probably came out intact with implants. Furthermore, the Greys specialize in mind control games. They like to tag everybody with these implants and for further experimentation if necessary, which they carry out with the Draco and the Draco in demonic conscious form. So the Greys work with demons, and they're attracted to people who know also how to work with demons by lowering the frequency by doing depraved rituals and sadomasochistic crimes. It's known by different names through the ages. The church knew that these alien beings could get into people. They learned a lot through these so-called exorcisms and stigmatas. In the film The Exorcist, it's basically portrayed of a little girl who was abused throughout the whole movie, and later on priests intervene who take the demons into them to technically save this child. But it's a guarded secret concerning the physical act of lowering the frequency and calling up demonic consciousnesses through active ritual, and interacting with these beings by the Black Mass or conjuring up the dead using books on demonic spells such as the fabled Necromonicon. It's not a precise spell in a book or a recipe in witchcraft. It's the low frequency act the book calls for, which attracts demons. And highly advanced low frequency alien with demonic consciousness. In these evil books, they'll tell you how to bring up different demons. Cut off the skin of someone for this demon, rape and kill another person for another demon. It's just insane rituals that exist to lower the frequency. It doesn't matter if you run around and try to dig up 5 dead scorpions or 6 dead scorpions, the ritual is going to work the same way. It's an act of following a path or a ritual to lower the frequency. So whenever you go back through history and you read about ritualistic cannibalism and other satanic acts concerning royalty taking blood baths, all the torture, impalement, kings that like piles of corpses lined up in front of their castles, acts of rape, mass murder, human sacrifices. You hear about these acts of war all through the ages, and for whatever excuse, it's very much just the ritual existing to honor the demonic consciousness and exist to lower the frequency in the physical world into the depravity of human lows to attract and attach a demon. These rituals and acts of war would change some people. Something would come over them. There'd be historical figures recorded to eat human flesh and drink blood among piles of corpses as scenic pieces. And why? Due to the fact that they were possessed. And they were addicted to remaining possessed. But the question remains, why would some people go out of their way to cause such destruction, such unnecessary destruction, and do these acts of the worst torture session and the worst ritual and the worst snuff film you've ever heard about just to be possessed? Why would they want to get possessed? Why do you think they would want to get possessed? Those of you who think they do it to get into their international mafia, or those of you who think it's for their next big thrill, you guys better listen up and learn what you are truly up against, because this is the secret of secrets of the destructive side of our world. The people that get possessed, they do this for power, and I'm not talking about financial power or mafia power or influential power either. The reason they commit these heinous acts of cannibalism, human sacrifice, are involved with human trafficking, and all forms of treacherous, ritualistic crime is for power, but not power in the conventional sense. When you hear that they do this for power, some of you think it's for wealth and the power that comes with money and influence, but the truth is that the worst criminals, far worse than the most greedy millionaire willing to do anything for a buck, are those who thirst for a form of psychic power that accompanies a demonic possession. But it is not their power, for it is another consciousness who holds that psychic power. But still, these people are willing to get possessed to gain this psychic power that they do not usually possess. And when they are possessed by an older and stronger consciousness, they are all able to hold this power over weaker minds. And this is what they become addicted to.